Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 5:55 with Joseph. Hope you're having an awesome hump day today and everything's going your way. So today I want to talk about living above that zero line. You know, so many people I talk to, especially now with the world being the way it is, with this, with this virus that's happening and what's going to happen with it and such, and with the, politics and everything going on there, and even, hi Christina, and even the financial situation of the world right now and what's going on with it and stuff. I talk to a lot of people. I talk to business owners. I talk to employees, stay-at-home moms, realtors, people from all different walks of life. And that spend so much time, they feel like they're getting pulled into that worry. They feel like they're getting just like it grips them and grabs hold of them and pulls them in. And maybe you're experiencing some of that in your life. And today I want to talk about that zero line. And I want to talk about, so there's a zero line that we follow, okay? And there's times when, and I want to walk through this because what I know is that we choose where we put our focus. It may not feel like that at all. When we're living through our paradigms, I've brought this up before, when we're living through our paradigms, our patterns, our conditioning, when we're living through those places, it feels very much like we're trapped into that. Hey, Colin, like we can get trapped in and pulled into that. And it feels like we don't have a choice. But I will continue to remind you that it's always our choice on where we put our focus. And I want to explain the dynamics of how critical it is to choose something different, to look for something different. Now, what I know is a lot of us, myself included, everybody in this world, we're not meant to go it alone. Iron sharpens iron, which means to have help, to have assistance, and that's why what I do is so, I have so much passion towards it. I have a coach I work with every week in my life, and when you look at some of the great people and the works they've done, when you look at Henry Ford and the assembly line, he had a coach, he had a mastermind team and coaches that he worked with. Napoleon Hill, had somebody he worked with. Firestone, all the great people they didn't go it alone. And what I'm finding is so many people that are pulled in and trapped into that worry and anxiety and living through that day over day over day are going it alone. When we do that, what happens? I want to explain the dynamics of this tonight. Yeah, it's great to see you there, Colin, too. Is what happens is there's a zero line, okay? And when we live in and we're getting the things we want and things are happening and we got our focus on, creating, we're above that zero line, right? So we're living higher than that zero line in our life. And what happens is as our paradigms, our patterns, our conditioning comes up and starts pulling that down. I talk to business owners, for instance, and they say, man, I don't know where my next dollar's coming in. I don't know where the next job's coming in. I talk to realtors and say, I can't find any leads. I'm not getting any houses to list, or there's not enough houses to list, or the buyers just aren't showing up, or whatever it may be. And I can help that person in a very short period of time shift that and open up to allowing for those things to show up. And I'll tell you, the opportunities to show up. And the opportunities are always there. So anyway, so when we get in that place and sales are happening, our job's going good, our family, our relationships are good, our health is doing well, and we're on that click, and we're click, 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 and we continue to rise up in that. And what happens is that worry, the politics, the virus, other things, the economy, other things come up and pull us down, and we start getting a little bit worried. And we think, okay, so, what happens is all of a sudden it starts pulling us down below that zero line. And so now we end up in worry, anxiety. We're living at the same level of our situations, our circumstances, and conditions. So as we move down below, the further down below that zero line that we live, the more we're reacting to those things, kind of like whack-a-mole. So we're living at the same vibration of that, below that zero line. And when they come up, we have to react to them. And we react to this one, and we react to that, and we're continually reacting, which only drives us further down below that zero line. Now, here's the thing with that. This is really, really important. Going below that zero line, in order to get to a place of positive, it takes more than double the efforts to turn that around to bring us back up. Because if we're at that zero line, if we're doing minimal something to grow and expand in our life at that zero line, then to go above that doesn't take that much effort. But when you're this far below that zero line, You have to come back through that center line, through that zero line, in order to get then to that upward expansion of opportunities. And that's what a lot of the clients, a lot of the people I talk to are down here somewhere, and they're going, man, I'm killing myself just trying to get a good day. I'm killing myself not to hate going to work. I'm killing myself to communicate with this person I'm in a relationship about. You know, and it's so much effort. And the reason being is because it's not our fault. But we have without intentionally doing so, we have placed our focus on the things that are bringing us down below that zero line, the worries, the anxieties, the possibilities of ruin. And, you know, sometimes I talk to people about who live on worst case scenarios. Those types of things just bring us down. And now we need double the effort in order to get back on top of that. I hope this makes sense to you, and I really want to drill this in tonight because it's so important and it's so much of an impact on what you can be, do, have, give, create, and experience in your lifetime. So if you think about being down here, the amount of effort it requires to get up here somewhere, you know, every day of your life is not repeatable. Every day of your life is gone. Once it's gone, it's gone. You never get to repeat today again. So what we do in this day determines tomorrow and the next day and next week and next month and next year. And I'll tell you, if you're living like wealth, I define wealth as, you know, living health and well-being, relationships, vocation, time, money, freedom, living all areas of your life like you would love. If you're living like that, awesome. I'd still like to hear from you because I love talking to people like that. I'm going to start doing interviews in a couple weeks, and I have a gentleman I'm going to be talking to and doing an interview that's, hey, Eric, good to see you, man. Brooklyn, nice to see you. I lean into this as so doing these interviews with people who are like just on top, loving their life in every area. You know, I want to connect more with those people as I do personally. I want to connect with you guys more in those people. But I also, if there's an area of your life, if there's an area of your life that you're living below that zero line, if you're living down here somewhere with it, please don't settle for that. You're living on scraps of what you could really be achieving and receiving in your life. So if you have those areas that are below that, I put it out there all the time. Reach out to me. Let's get on a call and talk about it. I can give you some ideas on how to start making that shift, how to start bringing that up to the zero line, or at least how to get to that zero line. Because from the zero line, if you stay there and then decide you want to go up, it's so much easier to move this far than it is to move this far. And I hope this makes sense to you. So again, I'm going to ask you today, what is an area of your life that you know somewhere inside of you that you could be living fuller than what you're experiencing right now? And I'll tell you, I say this a lot, but it's absolutely true. If you're living in an area of your life and you're living on scraps and you know that, and life feels mediocre in areas, it's not your fault. It's based on our patterns, our paradigms, and conditionings that we did not sign up for. But knowing there's another way and staying there is your choice. So in the thing tonight, for comments tonight, I'm really geared up, you can see. In the comments tonight, I'd love for you to put something in there as far as what's one area of your life, your health and your well-being, or your relationships maybe. Maybe for you it's your vocation or your job, your work, the works that you're doing. Or maybe it's your time and money freedom. You don't feel like you have enough time or money freedom in your life. Which one of those areas would be your focus where you'd say you're below that zero line? And nothing changes if nothing changes. So the reason I ask you to set out these comments is I've learned, again, I've gotten the opportunity to invest in myself and work with some of the greats, the Tony Robbins, the Bob Proctors, the Mary Morrisseys, even back in the day, the Wayne Dyers and those people. And it consistently across the board, what I've continued to hear in each one of those is if we don't get into that awareness of what really is, we will never experience anything different in our life. And you are so much more powerful than to live in that negative area. You are so much more powerful to live in that reactionary mode to those whack-a-moles that are popping up in your life and your situations, circumstances, and conditions. And I'll tell you another awesome benefit of this is once you get above that zero line, you'll find how much easier life gets. It's easier to create financial wealth. It's easier to stick to your goals as far as your wealth and your health, your health and your well-being. Your relationships, all of a sudden, they start getting easier. Your work, even when I was in a job in corporate America that I was good at but didn't like, it became easier as I applied these principles to it. It becomes easier, and the reason why is because instead of reacting to those whack-a-moles, we can start with that higher elevation and that positive ground there. We can start responding to those. And that's where life becomes magical. So just reach out. I lean into you with this is, what is that one area of your life? What's that one area of your life that you feel like you're in the negative with right now? And I'll tell you, a lot of people right now in this world, the number one thing they go to is finances. That's the number one thing that people will go to right now. And I'll tell you, as long as you can do something about that. I said this last night. The good news is only you have to decide to do something about that to shift all of it. The bad news is only you can decide to do something different to shift that. It's your choice. So leave a comment on here as far as what is that one area of your life that you feel like you're in the negative on right now. You know, that you're in that negative area, and let's spark that conversation. Let's just get that awareness of that going. And then from there, the other thing I'll leave you with is that the Success Ignited Facebook group. My friend Eric just said that his fishing needs help. But okay, I'll do a sidebar here. I went out fishing with this guy, trout fishing a couple weeks ago, and the guy reached in the river and grabbed a trout with his bare hands. So I think you're doing pretty good, Eric. But one of the things is that the Success Ignited, or the Ignite Success Facebook group, man, is it growing, and it's gotten to a point, I was waiting for it to get to a certain point, and then we're going to kick off lives. Once a week, we're going to do a live question and answer where you can bring any of the things I'm talking about here on the live at 555s or anything else where you may be struggling or you got questions about or understand how to apply the tools or things like that, that will go on there and once a week and offer that we have that open session, that question and answer, do on-spot coaching. And what's really cool about that, what I find in my groups is you may not have anything that you want to bring to there as far as on-spot coaching, but somebody else may that really impacts you that you hadn't even thought of to ask, and vice versa. You may bring something somebody else doesn't think to ask that impacts them. But you have to be in the group, in the Ignite Success Facebook group in order to join in on those. There's no cost for the group or anything. So just if you haven't clicked in and joined the group, go ahead and do so. Put one comment in here today about what is that one area you feel like you're below the zero line on that. And let's like, I'm leaning into you because my whole passion is to inspire, motivate, and lead people to live better lives. And I put this time in, I don't have sponsors or things like that right now. I will. Right now I don't though. And so leaning into this is just my way of giving back. The coaching I do, the speaking I do, the groups that I do has such an enormous impact. You can go on my website at any time and go to testimonials and see some of the amazing transformation that my clients have gone through, whether it be business, whether it be personal transformation, or a combination, which is usually a combination of both anyways, and see what that is. And just lean into this. If you have any comments, if you want to discuss any of this stuff further, just send me a message on Messenger, and I'm more than open to doing that. And just be well, and God bless.